What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the RabidMining YouTube channel. And what if I told you we have been overclocking our GPUs all wrong? I know what you guys are thinking. Now seriously, hear me out first. You're gonna want to hear this. With Ethereum moving to POS, obviously things are changing, and in order to survive everything that's happening, we're gonna have to change our setups and the way we do mine. Things are definitely changing. Now, depending who does see this video, we're probably gonna see new overclocking videos coming out sometime soon. So you heard it here first. So this is how we currently kind of overclock our GPUs. We grab our GPU, we throw it into our rig, we punch in some overclock settings or type some numbers in on our keyboard, do some clicks with the mouse, depending on the operating system you are using. So every algorithm is slightly different. Some are memory based, some are core based, some require a little bit of both or less of both. You never know. And then in the mix between them all, you require more or less power. So once we finally get some tweaking, whether it's setting the power limit or an absolute core clock, we then get our hash rates based on what everyone else is getting for hash rates when you search on YouTube or the internet. And on the channel here, you guys who follow me do know that I try to shoot for a nice high hash to watt ratios to find the best mining efficiencies. What that means is you are mining the highest possible way and using the least amount of power possible. As a crypto miner, electricity is your largest bill. So the more you can mitigate that, the more profits you will be getting. So it's time to start thinking outside the box. I want to bring a CPU in this mix just to use as a showcase so you guys kind of get an idea what I'm talking about. And there's other CPU miners out there which still, disagree with the way I'd like to do my overclocking. And that's entirely okay. Depending on your power price and everything, everyone has a different opinion. Here we have a Ryzen 3900X. Its base clock is 3.8 gigahertz and it can boost up to 4.6. Now, to everyone that follows the channel, I like to stay at the base clock range, so 3.8, and then tweak my voltages from there. And depending on the algorithm you are mining, you could be at 1 volt, you could drop that to 0.97 or 0.95, and your full system at the wall is a lot more efficient than people that like to run upwards past this base clock into the boost range of 4.2, 4.4, 4.5, and using a lot more volts in order to do so. XMR, for example, you can boost this up, 4.2 to 4.3 and a 3900X can grant you over 15,000 hashes on XMR, but you're doing so at about 240 watts. That is your full system, motherboard, and everything. Now, using my settings, you drop to about 13,300 hashes, but you're only using 109 watts, less than 50% less power than boosting it up for hardly any hash rate boost. That is your highest hash to watt ratio and grants you lower electricity costs, and you're maintaining decent profits. Now, I also made on a 3060, this is what we're going to do tests here. We did all this live in a live stream a few weeks back, testing my 3060 V2 ever since the LHR unlock, and we made FLUX more efficient than Ethereum as well as even Ergo. So let's have a look here. 28.63 souls at 83.4 watts at the wall. This is, absolute GPU power being used, only 83 watts. And then we can see Ethereum here was 112 watts, Ergo was 99. This was giving us a hash to soul ratio of 0.349. So I do want to get rid of everything here except for FLUX. Okay, so now we only have FLUX listed here for our 3060 light hash rate. Now we can see the 3060 based on what to mine. Now these numbers aren't 100% accurate. You're going to have slight variant differences, and it also depends on your overclock settings, but it's telling us 36 souls. It's saying hashes, but this is souls for 140 watts. If we calculate that, we can see FLUX is making us 58 cents before power and 24 cents after power. Now that's 36 souls, and I know I'm dropping this down to 28 souls. You're like, well, that's too much of a hash rate drop. That is not worth it at all. But if we actually put in our 83 watts here at 10 cents per kilowatt hour, look at this. We're at 58 cents before power and only 24 cents after power. We're calculate this now. We're actually making 25 cents. So we're making more profit now after power because we dropped the hash rate down, but our power consumption is so much lower as well. All right, so now most people don't have 10 cents per kilowatt hour these days. People in Europe have a lot more. Myself personally, with everything going on, I'm at 16.7 cents here. So I'm going to calculate that at the current profitability, and it makes 0 cents. We are 1 cent profitable right now to mine Flux, but would I mine Flux for 1 cent? No, I would probably just shut my rigs off. If Flux was my only coin I could mine in the current market, my rigs would be off right now. But we can see we're making 1 cent after power at, well, it's saying 17, but it's 16.7. So we're going to change these numbers around again to 28 sols. Actually, it's 28.6 sols, so I kind of messed up already, at 83 watts. And at the current price right now with these at 16.7 or so, we're at 12 cents. So we're up 11 more cents. Obviously, we're still not very profitable, but you can see how running highest efficiency does drop your power consumption used, and you are getting more profits in doing so. Now, I know a lot of people can't really justify losing hash rates or anything, but let's take a look at some other settings I did. So the 3060, I did pull out 120.6 mega hash on Ergo for only 99 watts. Ravencoin, 22.22 mega hash for 120 watts. What to mine is telling us about 140 watts for 22. So we saved a little bit here, dropping that down. And then we got Ethereum here at 47.6 mega hash at 112 watts at the wall, for a hash to watt or a hash to megawatt of 0.425. Now we can tweak that a little bit more. We can see 42.8 mega hash here for only 100 watts. We have slightly more efficiency, but it's not really that much. So, you know, unless you're spending expensive amounts on power, you won't really notice this, but we are only 100 watts. So what does that mean? That means on a 10 by 3060 rig, you are saving about 120 watts, which is another full GPU. So you could throw 11 on here, still save 2 watts based on using a 10 card rig at these settings. So efficiency does add up the more and more GPUs you do have. And when you run it that way, you save more power to the power company, which makes it more profitable for yourself. So there we have it, guys. So I do plan on going through all my GPUs. I have a bunch of 3060 Ti non-LHRs. I got a 3070 non-LHR, 3080 non-LHR. We got 3090 here. Obviously it's non-LHR, but I want to go through all these coins as well as other coins and tweak up that hash to watt ratio. I have no issues dropping that hash rate if it's saving me that much more in power and peaking up that hash to watt ratio. We're gonna have to change the way we mine if you wanna make it through this bear run. The end of Ethereum market is ultimately gonna be worse than any previous bear run or crypto winter that we have ever had in the past. Things are dramatically changing, and we just gotta change the way we overclock our GPUs. It's all going to come down to efficiency. You can do some other little tricks too. ATX power supplies, most server power supplies, peak efficiency is in that 50% mark. So try to run at 50% of all your power supplies, or at least as close to it as you can. Remember, every PSU does differ. Some server power supplies do utilize a higher percentage, like 70-75, to hit that peak range. So make sure you check the manual and see if yours is one of those. But you are going to try to want to run it as close to the peak efficiency range as possible, because that will drop your power used at the wall. And that's all that the power company cares about, is the power you're using at the wall. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I will see you on the next one. Rabid out. Thank you for watching my video, and if you haven't seen one of these, be sure to check them out. And if you already seen them, maybe you missed some, might have to watch it one more time. And if you just let it play in the background, that's all right as well. I do try to live stream every weekend as well as every couple days during the week, so be sure to be subscribed so you don't miss that. As always, have a great day.